Welcome back. Here we go. Here we go. Gotta test the audio here. Everything seems to be working just fine. All right. That's a nice graphic. Testing. Testing. We'll do another test. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. I'll do another test. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. So we have a guy by the name of James Tallarico. He's a progressive Democrat, liberal Marxist Democrat from the state of Texas. And he is proclaiming that Jesus is non-binary. And it specifically states in the Bible refers to God as the Heavenly Father. So we have a guy by the name of James Tallarico. And he did this perfectly for the Democrats because they absolutely despise Charlie Kirk, but they're in love with James Tallarico. Now, James Tallarico is not a preacher. He's not a man of faith. He's a con and fraud. And to this man, you can tell he has no schooling. He has no theology. And he's going around trying to bash the Christian religion and proclaiming that homosexuality is what is needed in America with senators. Tallarico will not be the senator from Texas. Ken Paxton will be your senator from Texas. And the Democrats have found their white knight, their Charlie Kirk. The Democrats have found Charlie Kirk reincarnated into James Tallarico. They're going to glorify James Tallarico and all the garbage that he is spilling out into the streets. This man is spilling out nothing but garbage. And he's trying to rally the very small base of liberal Democrats in the great state of Texas. Texas is deep red, and when voting time comes around, there's going to be no doubt that Ken Paxton is going to defeat John Cornyn, and then he's going to walk his way into the Senate there for 6 full years. And then we're going to find out if he's true to his core or if he's another fraud. You have to remember, Republicans and Democrats are basically frauds. But James Tallarico specifically is a man of demonic influence. This goes back to the sink and the dink. Single income, no kids, you're struggling. You're struggling, you can't buy a home unless you're making $100,000 to $130,000 a year as a single income, no kids. Not too many people in America are single under 30 making 130. Another catchphrase there, single under 130. So on that behalf, Mr. Corville, have you seen that video? He's an old man. Here the Democrats talk about they need young diversity. And all they produce is these old white women, old white men. I'm beside myself by the strategy of this. The guys stealing millions of dollars from their nonprofit. Democrats can't stand this. They also can't stand that oil has become the #1 issue in all their green energy scams are going away. No one cares about wind and algae. Everyone cares about oil and gasoline. Maybe a hybrid car may work well for some people, but I'm telling you, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And that's just how that's going to play out there. We've also cut the funding to Somalia. The country of Somalia, Marco Rubio has declared that all the funding will now be halted. All funding is now halted to Somalia. And that's based on Tim Walz, the governor, and Mr. Frey, the mayor, and all the fraud going on with Ilhan Omar. Now, I know you're not reading the headlines now. If you're a Democrat and you're locked up with far left Twitch broadcast, far left CNN, MS Now, MSNBC, whatever publications, Politico, Axios. By the way, that's all funded through taxpayers. If they have to survive on their own, they're not going to survive, and their funding is being halted now with all the discrepancies they found in Doge. So I would advise you all to get a little bit better informed, find out what's happening in your local jurisdictions, and start your organizations, because AI and basic income is coming for you. Now, the way that basic income may work, if you have enough tech billionaires, the billionaires in the world are 28 billionaires in the world. They have a combined of like $21 trillion. Probably growing as this broadcast. 25 trillion. The entire debt that America owes is $39 trillion. So the 3,450, there could be another one today. It could go. We could add 2 more. So that money, the $30, is going to be used for land and other assets. Do not own a home or any assets, or any people that they control the country round and round. And that we're never going to get ahead. You're not going to be able to live American unless you. If you don't live you're going to be locked out. You're going to be shut out, and your life is going to become very challenging. Even with property taxes, HOA fees, and everything else, you have to do PMI, but you need to come up with at least $20,000 to $100,000 for that down payment, because houses now are going between $400,000 and $500,000. The new housing community being built is a few miles from me, in gorgeous, gorgeous countryside, gorgeous, gorgeous. On an acre lot, the starter home with no bells and whistles is over $400,000. You start talking about the nice flooring, the nice windows, the nice finishes. We're pushing $5 to $535. The average house right now is $400,000. You need $80,000 to bypass the PMI. You need a FICO score of 750. You need to have your debt to income below 43%. And you need to have liquidity in the bank outside of the $80,000. So you really need about $110,000 liquidity, along with your job that pays $100,000 to $130,000. These are things that Democrats do not want to tell you. How can they? Why would they want to tell you? I mean, why would they want to tell you? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me that? Can you tell me that? And I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. So back to Somalia and all the fraud they're finding there in the it once was a great state of Minnesota. They're also linking this back to California. Now, Gavin Newsom has a big problem. This is why he's not even a contender anymore for the presidential race. You can prop him up, you can hoop and holler, you can bash Trump all you want. But right now, Trump is in the driver's seat, and the strategy that he's using over there in Iran is absolutely brilliant. For those who don't like Trump, you're just looking as a hate Trump, the Epstein files, all the nonsense you spew out, all the adjectives: pedophile, child molester, rapist, con man, thief, fool, orange man, bad, all the nonsense. And yet, after 4 years of President Biden, you lost your net worth. Your interest rates went sky high, and gas was almost $9 a gallon in California and Chicago. New York City's lost all their money. That's why Kathy Hochul is begging people back to fulfill their socialist agenda, but she may not even win that election. And if they re-elect her, that's just on New York. That's just showing you how much unintellect those people have. So when you're looking at something like that, you've got to take into account here with our 100 push-ups, our 100 leg raises, and we have, today I had 12 eggs, get the blood pumping, keep the body nice and toned, nice and strong. And then later we're going to do some bench presses, some squats, and we'll do some bicep curls and some pull-ups. I'll try to get 150 pull-ups in today and keep the biceps through. Latissimus dorsi, nice and strong and nice and straight there. As we see the parasite in Puerto Rico, it's astonishing. Now, Charles, the best in the UK and in Europe, he would run some and he'd be educated by past experts. And he himself was outperforming with the knowledge. Romans is one of the most complicated chapters in the Bible. And it takes some people years to get through that and to understand Romans and the Word of God. So we're going to be looking at the comparisons here and watching just how the Democrats in Texas are going to try to fool America, but especially the people of Texas, that this is the new Charlie Kirk, the reincarnation of Charlie Kirk. Now that's not a Christian viewpoint either. Reincarnation is not in the Bible. Reincarnation is not part of Catholicism. It's not part of any one of the dialects of Christianity. And the way that Christianity was able to spread was through the Roman Empire. Did you know that the paved sidewalks and the roads and the bridges that the Romans built gave the disciples the opportunity to travel by foot and by animal to spread the word of Jesus Christ in the Bible? That is one of the main reasons that Jesus decided to come back in time to the Roman Empire days. That was the foundational learning and spreading the word there. No, they all died horrible deaths. But the word of the Bible is not shining too brightly on Mr. James Tallarico. Charlie Kirk is sitting right now in heaven, sitting pretty after the assassination 6 months and 2 days ago. Or was it 6 months and 3 days ago? So we talk about Somalia and the funding and the fraud. It went from a few million to tens to hundreds of $millions. And we've got new arms deals with Taiwan. Now to go back to the Iran war, we have 6 dead soldiers for a KC-135. Now those aircrafts did collide. I'm not sure if both aircrafts landed safely. I was reading that one did return safely, but one was unsuccessful and it went down. That's guaranteed 4 deaths. But they were reporting now 6 deaths on 2 KC-135. They're refueling jets. If you live in certain parts of the country, you can actually see them at 30 and 40 and 50,000 feet refueling B-2 bombers. If you're up over Missouri or up over the Midwest, that is a common sight to see if you ever decide to look up and look at the streams You can sometimes see a pair of B-2 bombers being refilled. The military is doing great. My understanding is the Ayatollah Khomeini's son, the new leader, the new elected leader, the new prophet of Iran, the one who's going to take them to the promised land with 72 virgins and all the gifts that Allah has promised. So that's not going to happen either. That's not going to happen either, because Jesus Christ is the only God, and he makes that quite clear in the biblical teachings and the word of Jesus Christ in the Bible. So that's going to be a rude awakening. And then we've got the prayer going on in Michigan, Minnesota, and New York City. Now, when all this settles down, that's probably going to see some pushback on that, because they're blocking squares, they're taking up time. And I believe that the Christians should start to do the same thing. If the Catholics come out, they're the largest number of people in the world, the Catholics. And they should start to pray and halt traffic and glorify Jesus Christ. That's just my opinion. Get back into the financial side, the basic income. Going to have a lot of trouble here, because you have these billionaires. We're going to have one trillionaire real soon. Elon Musk is on the cusp of becoming a billionaire, and they're going to be using that money, I believe, for more conservative issues. It all depends. We do need Republicans to tell us who didn't serve that long doing the Senate. Sure. Because you have some discrepancies. People don't have no take, they want to leave with such radical ideas that it's going to be a called police conflict. That's what we're talking about. So we can just podcast with a lot of great things. It's not even a podcast. It's just upload all over the uploads. So that is why I'm here everywhere here, getting this word out to young people, to middle-aged people, even to old people on fixed incomes. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things. Right now, this is the explosive matters portion, where we talk about some sensitive things. I just call them common sense issues. They're just common sense issues to me. You just need to think and react and just be normal, so that when you're normal, you can think and you can use your head, because what they're proposing on some of this legislation going on, it's going to be a detriment to the mental capacity development of our young kids, even our young adults. So if you're trying to go back to school to get your high school diploma or your GED, could you imagine some of the topics they're going to ask you? They don't even care about math, science, technology, and English. That's STEM mixed up. They're going to care if you know about the non-binary and the 42 different types of genders that they've created out of this imaginary realm, man and woman. And also now Idaho, Utah, they are going through with trying to reverse that. They're talking about federalism, and they're serious about it. It's going to pass. They're going to be asking SCOTUS, that's the Supreme Court of the United States, to overturn Obergefell and the gay marriage. They are going to ask that the court overturn that and bring it back to the states. I think that's where it should be. Just like abortion. Abortion should not be a federally mandated situation for any woman. It needs to be a state-by-state issue. And if you want to take it even a step further, it could be a municipality or a city way of life there. Because that is where everything, the grassroots, come from, the local governing and the ordinances and municipalities. And then it kind of grows out from there until you get to the full state level, and the legislative bodies and the House and the Congress and the governors see how they're going to pass some things there. So as a single income, no kid, we're going to be running into all sorts of problems here. Inflation is down, but if you're double income, no kids, that's how you can be able to buy a home and get some assets. If you do not purchase a home, like I've said, in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to be left out. And the input costs here, we're talking about fertilizer for food, we're talking about the oil for gasoline, we're talking about refineries now moving away from California. So they're going to lose all their funding, and once they lose all their funding, and if the SAVE Act is passed, if and when the SAVE Act is passed, I believe you're going to see a lot of congressional seats being also lost to the Democrats because it's based on the importation of the number of people. That is why during the census, they only want to have the entire pool of people counted. They don't want to just have U.S. citizens. Just had to show my ID just the other day just to get into a federal building. That same federal building just has the voting booths just right down the street. Now where I'm at, you have to show voter ID. This is a conservative state. They don't mess around. Do have stand your ground. Common sense people here. This is agriculture. This is a little bit of mix of both city and rural areas, farmers and tech people. And I'd say 85%, maybe a little high, but I'll go with 85%, are full Trump supporters. And they're gonna bleed red, white, and blue, and they're just gonna scoff and dismiss the idiocy of what these liberal pundits are trying to get across. Because it doesn't make any sense, the policies they're trying to do. Everything is bad. Everything is bad when a Republican is. Everything is grand when they're in office. And when we look at the facts and the economies and the different presidents and different Congress, different Senates, when a Democrat is in office, there's all sorts of financial chaos. You're going to say, what about Trump and the war? It's been 12 days, 13 days, whatever it's been. Okay, Afghanistan was 20 years. Should we have gone into Iraq? Absolutely not. No, I knew a lot of those soldiers who lost their arms, legs, eyes. I knew a lot of those guys. So absolutely not. No, this is the right play here. And taking over Cuba and making sure this communist regime, socialist mentality is uprooted and dismissed. It's time for these places to go to capitalism and watch them grow and expand. And those that create the ideas jobs are going to make money, and those who follow, you're going to follow, and you're going to be under the leadership of the people who are putting their capital at risk. We talked about risk transfer here a lot. We talked about commodities here a lot. How the commodities and blood pressure are all related and the interconnected. More Democrats than Republicans. I mean, these are the Epstein Foundation all the time. The world doing business with all people past 40 years. Every business. He knows the most world leader in every country. He's a man that's on full throttle all the times where he goes. And if you could keep up, I would just giggle. I would respond to that and then try to golf the man. It's almost impossible. You go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, you're up at 5, you're back at your desk at 6 a.m., and then you're going to work until 1 o'clock and 7 days a week. Now, he may take a break here and there. This is why they cut off the Somali funding, because we're tired of the fraud, tired of the voter fraud, we're tired of the fraud in general, the WIC fraud, Section 8 fraud. There's all this fraud going on. And they are doing their best now to get rid of this, and they're going to get rid of it. And if the SAVE Act is passed, your blue cities are going to start to turn red. And those fleeing from blue city to blue city, that's not going to be an option for you anymore. You're going to have to see what it's like to live with common sense, a little bit of faith and religion, and capitalism. There's not going to be any more handouts, not anymore just sitting around putting your hand out saying, I need a paycheck, I need this, but I'm not going to contribute. No, you have to start paying your taxes. Everyone needs to pay taxes. We should have gone to a flat tax a long time ago. A flat tax, 10%, 12%, whatever it may be for everybody. And if you're living off of capital gains, that should be probably a little bit more based on your salary, based on your net worth. So a lot of people don't even understand about taxes and billionaires. That's why they pay the 12%. They don't have a salary. If they do, it's $1 or $42,000. They don't pay themselves a salary. Everything's an option. It's all stock options. It's all real estate options. It's all based on performance. And we start basing things on performance. But that's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to work on 100% commission. Try to go and sell life insurance. Go door to door, try to sell life insurance. That's a real hard thing to do. So we got the Sturgis hat on here during the stream. We're all dressed in the Sturgis colors. Used to ride up from the small town of Sterling into Sturgis. Have a good old time with some of those boys there. I can get a little rowdy there, in Sturgis. So we do a little more of a hyped up version sometimes, and we do a real laid back version here on the Rich Delivers stream. We talk about everything here. We talk about technology, farming, stocks, bonds, commodities, healthcare, consumer goods, consumer spending. By the way, consumer spending is actually going very well. If you look at the online spending is up significantly. What's kind of lacking right now is the auto sales. The auto sales are kind of lacking. And that's just from their saying from weather. So again, we're going to have to use our brains and use our head to figure out what's true. You can't just believe what you want to believe and be an ideologue, because those are the people who don't have an intellect or any way to debate or converse. It's just a one-way street, and it's going to get you into a lot of problems here in the next 3 to 5 years. It doesn't matter who's going to be the POTUS. It's not going to matter. Everything is changing so fast right now. If you're not up to date with anything, if you don't have any goals or strategy or plan, if you don't have any money now, you're certainly not going to have any money later. So I can tell you right now, if a Democrat comes into the office, they get all 3 bodies of government, inflation is going to skyrocket if you're pouring down. We're just trying to get out of the Biden economy. We're just now coming out. The Biden economy has been for 1 year. That sense. 9-10% inflation, gas is $8-9. We've gone over the numbers many times. And now the war here in the Strait of Hormuz, I don't think we're going to be escorting those ships out there anytime soon. We're these drones now. These drones have a traveling capacity of 1,550 miles. And they're a little challenging because they fly slow and low, and a lot of the technology is designed to shoot down these targets that are going really, really fast, almost hypersonic. And if you're in Palmdale, California, you can watch some of that experimental aircraft. You've been out to a town called Rachel, Nevada. That's near Area 51. You can hear sonic booms that'll shake you out of your socks. At least it shook me out of the socks. My wildest experience from Area 51 was being on Coyote Ridge. Top of there, a couple of F-15s came by. They were up there. They were a few hundred feet above us. B-52 came, almost took us off the mountainside. Almost right there. We were on the cliff. We're at the point. I'm coming. There's a pair of them coming. They're just coming right at us like this. We're flying down. Get down. They thought, they came down. Boy, did they come down. And the photograph that I have is all this ducking between this big rock, and you can just see the dirt. They're really awful photographs, but we were just clicking because it's so large. And boy, there's something like, and we're talking about the next side. Oh, we're looking right now. We're back on CENTCOM right now. We're looking at that. Oh boy, there's no advisory, there's no releases, no contracts, no transcripts at all. Not much news coming out of there. I know something big is going to be happening real soon. I know they've got their eyes and their ears wide open here And with the intelligence now, with China and Russia trying to get in now, I guess Trump has signaled that it's okay to buy some Russian oil. And of course, the liberal media is going to jump all over that, and they're going to say we're enriching Putin. Well, you know what? There's a strategic reasoning behind everything this administration does. And if you haven't figured that one out by now, you're listening to a bunch of liberal talking heads, either on Twitch or on CNN or whatever they're doing. Now, I use this stream here, and I post this to all other networks. I upload this and produces some other content for me, but this one right here gives me some really great graphics to kind of promote other things that we do. Some great photographs here, great photographs, some rescue, a lot of bombing, a lot of intel, a lot of missiles going off here, but nothing new. There's nothing new coming out of there right now. Nothing new. Okay, as predicted here, it looks right now, 2 hours ago breaking here, we got Mr. Powell. It looks like they are going to stay on the sidelines. They are not going to do anything to the interest rates, but there's no surprise there. They do need to come down at least a half to a full point. While SpaceX is going to hire some new legalities, Wow, Elon Musk and his power and his $1 trillion of net worth, he is some AI founders as a coding effort fails, so they're looking into that's going to pass. The farmers are going to and Cuba is going to end up bowing to Trump and the United States of America. That is and as soon as we get the order, yeah, they're going to start to the country, and we're not going to have to worry about this Iran nonsense any longer. Amazon's going to go ad-free. Pricing on Adobe CC. Adobe, what a magnificent. If you don't know how to use Adobe, you need to get involved with Adobe. That's absolutely brilliant, fantastic. So the betting markets are saying nope, there's not going to be a rate cut, but then you never know. It's a real sticky thing here. And we have one of the stock picks that we have chosen. That's Obook Holdings. That is up today, 7 cents or 1%. We got $6 and it's up 7 cents. So we do 6 over 7, which is approximately 1. You know how to do basic math and divide, add and subtract and multiply square roots, things like that. I'm sure all of you know that. If you don't, start learning that very quickly. It's going to come in very handy. The world is changing. Mathematics are going to be playing a role in a lot of jobs. Beyond Limited, Klarna Global, Neptune Insurance, and Garden State, they are all soaring today on news. They're all soaring today on news. Absolutely fantastic. There's my outdoor kitchen. We're getting ready to put in an outdoor kitchen here. It's a phenomenal project. We put in a lot of concrete, cut back some trees. We were going to put in this grand pool. We decided to cut back and keep the wildlife a little closer. But the outdoor kitchen is going to be superb. It's going to be fantastic. Again, now we're going to talk about defense stocks and due to the defense spending. I will give you an alert on that. I can't disclose what I'm into on that, but I did acquire some defense stocks due to the military strategy and the buildup here in the Persian Gulf and Iran specifically. And there we go. And Trump is calling for more rate cuts. Stocks are volatile up and down. The VIX is up. Catching up here. I don't really use this board here for much news. It's just about what's happening. How I do have some content. There's a lot of people stealing stuff. I've notified you have to file, you have to do it the right way. And then if you're going to be, if you don't have enough, make at least $60,000 a year, you're going to be behind on real estate. The markets are changing. The world is changing. Jobs are going to become hands on cameras. It is a tactic curriculum that's not going to work because there's too many. People who can jump in and do that job now without any training. Talking about the stocks going up and down, you can get all this money back here in the stock market within a few days or a week. Not too worried about those. Don't be worried about your investments. If you're in a 401k, if you're in your 20s, you should really rethink that. That's not a very good place to be. You got to use that money to pick up some assets. Get back to Mr. Tallarico's going to be making news here that his atheism stand in a very religious state of Texas is not going to go very well. It's going to become comical because when you start inducing transgenderism and homosexuality into a conservative state, you're not going to be winning over many voters. That's just not going to happen in the state of Texas. That might happen in Los Angeles, or that might happen in Minnesota. But then those states are completely bankrupt and they're looking for outside money now. They spend billions of dollars on high-speed rail and they can't even get their properties built back up after a fire. It's absolutely fantastic news what the Trump administration is doing here. It's absolutely fantastic news. Fantastic news. They are looking after America. They're looking after the taxpayer. And I'm really excited to see what the tax refund is going to be doing to allow these people. That's what I'm really looking forward to seeing. Be the largest tax return season in a couple of decades. That's all. Donald Trump, I think he'll be at Mar-a-Lago. They still have Southern Boulevard closed down there. It's a beautiful place. We've talked about that, Palm Beach. Palm Beach. Talked about wrestling. The old kind of like, once you get off the island and you get right across the bridge, you're going to know there's a lot of small old homes, and that's where the workers used to live, and the Flaglers and the Rockefellers build their mansion on Palm Beach. Here's Sam Altman and Elon Musk to win the case against Sam Altman. And that's what's taking place here. Beautiful, beautiful day. Beautiful day. You gotta love what's taking place. So the strategy here, as Trump has said, he wants to give an olive branch to China about the Strait of Hormuz. Basically, Trump now is almost in control of the oil in the world to a certain point here, which is very nice to see. We finally have an American president that's willing to grab the world by the balls, take out a main terror, Hamas and the Palestinians, who are in the Bible, who are a fictitious people. It's just a made-up word that they came up with. So, I mean, this Palestine, it's comical. It makes us all giggle here. It's all giggle. There's not one thing in the Bible about that, but Jews are God's children, and some of them don't even believe. So you have to take that into account as well. But by the Strait of Hormuz and Iran not doing any oil, that puts China without oil. And that puts the UAE and Saudi Arabia in a predicament because they need the Strait of Hormuz to transport. The only thing I'm concerned about is the fertilizer and the other needs for the farmers and for the input costs. So we may see a little spike here in pricing, but I think this war will be wrapped up within 2 to 3 months, the maximum. And then after all is said and done, the prices even get lower. We're going to probably talk about Epstein and all Democrats like to throw out. this guy James Tallarico, and he's the next Charlie Kirk, the reincarnated Charlie Kirk. An unexpected error here. So that's this podcast. Side of the try to pick up some real estate if you can. If you can at least $8,000 a year, you're in your sinking deep. Get out there, get have some that God wants you to enjoy your day, and have a look at me. I wish you all the life. I'm Rich. When I start using we're going to be on Care. We are going to be streaming live everywhere. And we're going to be on the conservative platforms, the ultra-liberal progressive platforms, putting out what I believe is knowledge that's used. Need to have moving forward and getting away from all the garbage. So until then, my friends, I will see you again. Have a wonderful day. Be blessed. I hope you're as blessed as me. Keep making that money. Keep your faith in Jesus Christ. Read your Bible, share the Bible, learn the Bible, and I think your day will turn out to be just absolutely fantastic. You may even become explosive. So again, this is the explosive matters portion of the stream where we get into some controversial topics. We don't get too controversial, but only about personal experience. Anything that's live and true, we dig in. Fact check on anything that you like to fact check me on. I'd love to hear some feedback on the fact check. I've got 2 fact checkers sitting right behind me. So we are growing here, and I look forward to. I'll be on the streets, and you'll be seeing some real neat interviews taking place here in the South. I'm here in the deep South, and real popular, and things are going very well. So to the Twitch world, God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Say a prayer for our President Trump and the administration, and let's win this Iran war. Bring our troops home. Get everything to be affordable, and we'll get those interest rates down. Get the housing boom. I sure hope you're ready. Get that housing boom going. Get the carpenters back to work. Everything is going to just be exploding and looking so good. But until then, my friends, God bless you. God bless America, and God bless your soul. This is Rich Delivers, the fastest compilation of news and information anywhere.